Introducing Apple Vision Pro. It's the first Apple product you look through and not at. Vision Pro feels familiar, yet it's entirely new. And you control Vision Pro using the most natural and intuitive tools, your eyes, hands, and voice. Your surroundings become an infinite canvas. Use your apps anywhere and make them any size you want.
So Apple's Vision Pro is a way to commercialize the application of artificial intelligence. Now, interestingly, not only Apple is in this artificial intelligence race, there are a bunch of companies that are doing the same. For example, last year, Mark Zuckerberg released this hardware that you would have seen him wearing, and this was to access the metaverse. Now, this is another piece of hardware. If you check the plans of Microsoft, you would see that they have invested close to $1 billion on something called as OpenAI. Similarly, companies like Amazon, Tesla, they are all experimenting with the AI technology because they think that it is the technology of the future. Now, if we speak from a numbers point of view, the artificial intelligence industry across the world is set to grow at roughly 22%. This is a massive growth rate. The story in India is even more promising because we are set to grow at roughly 33% when it comes to AI-oriented solutions. So comes the natural question that, you know what, if I'm an investor and if I put my money in companies that are experimenting and leveraging this AI, then I will earn a crazy amount of money. That is the same perspective with which I'm also operating, that I will divert a portion of my portfolio to AI-based stocks, both in India and outside India. So from that perspective, on today's video, I'm going to speak about two central pillars. Number one, I'm going to help you understand what exactly artificial intelligence is from a business point of view, not from a tech point of view, but from a business point of view. And second, I'm going to discuss stocks in India and also the US. So this is the precise conversation that I'm going to have with you. Now, AI is a deeply complicated subject and almost every company is coming up and saying that, you know what, we are doing something in AI. Then another company says that, you know what, we are like a shoe manufacturing company. We are also incorporating AI. Therefore, we are an AI company. No. So you need to understand the basics of the technology first, because these days, almost every company, चाहे वो कुछ भी बना रहे हो, they are portraying their business as AI oriented business, which is like absolute crazy. So the first pillar that you need to understand is the applications of AI. And please like and support these type of videos because I'm teaching these concepts fundamentally. I know that you haven't pressed the like button. Do press it. Very, very important. It would allow more people to understand these complicated concepts in very simple way. If you already know about AI, what AI is, you can skip this first section and move on to the second section directly. So let me start explaining, and there are 3 or 4 central points that I will explain about AI. So if I have to basically explain you the value chain of artificial intelligence, then it will fall into one of these 5 key buckets. Now, any company that you pick that is experimenting with AI would be doing one of these 5 critical works. So let me go step by step to help you understand it, because next time when a company comes and it says that, you know what, hum to AI ka kaam kar rahe hain, so then you can run it through this framework and you will be able to better understand where it exactly falls on that value chain. Before moving on, just a very quick introductory concept on AI, that what is the meaning or overarching meaning of AI. AI means artificial intelligence. It means कि machine का अपना दिमाग, right? Or machine is having its brain. For example, humans have their brain. Similarly, machines also have their brain and intelligence. So that is the basic definition of AI, in a way that machines become smarter over time, and one day it is expected that machines will become smarter than humans. So comes the natural question that, okay, how exactly will machines become intelligent than human? Okay, so for that, the first type of thing that you need to do is that you have to create a data set or data library. Now, how does this exactly work? So let me draw a simple diagram and explain it. So basically, imagine that you're training a computer's brain, right? Now, how will you exactly train the computer brain? You will have to feed it good quality data and huge sets of data. For example, Google search engine is what? Well, it is a search engine. It is a machine that you are typing that, okay, which are the best stocks to invest. So what is the output that it is giving you? It is giving you a series of articles, videos that you can watch, articles that you can read, vagera, vagera. So Google as a search engine, Google as a machine has been trained by using what? It has been trained by using a lot of data, and entire data libraries have been fed into Google search engine. And that has made Google search engine more intelligent with time. So this is a very important fundamental concept to understand. So something similar is going to happen in the artificial intelligence space also. For example, a new search engine is being developed. Now, in order to make it better than Google, what is it that we will have to do? You guys keep on hearing about ChatGPT. So what exactly is ChatGPT? People are saying that it is a better version of Google search engine. Now, ChatGPT is an artificial intelligence application. Now, how exactly ChatGPT will get smarter over time? Well, it will get smarter over time when you have data sets and data libraries being fed into it. Now comes the natural question that, okay, in what areas will these data sets, data libraries will be fed? Well, it could be in healthcare, it could be in education, it could be in searching or Google searches, it could be in literally any space or anything that has to do under the sun. So that is the basic point. Now comes a question that you need to ask as an investor that, okay, which companies control these data sets as of today? Now, these are big tech players. A few years back, I think the name of the company was Cambridge Analytics. You can correct me in the comments. What did Facebook do? Well, it was accused that Facebook sold the data of their customer. So Facebook as a company held a lot of data. Same goes for Amazon, that they have a bunch of retail data, that where are you buying, what type of items are you buying, what price are you buying it, which area. For example, if you're in Mumbai versus Delhi, then what is the buying preference of Mumbai customer versus Delhi customer? These are all important data sets that are controlled by big players. Now here you have 5-6 big players. For example, you have Apple, Google, Amazon, Microsoft. So all these are big players that control these data sets and data libraries. Now, second would be specialized software driven companies. What would they do? Well, to cut the long story short, they will build software. For example, what does TCS do? Well, it is building softwares. So TCS potentially could start developing some customized software for the clients that leverage AI solutions. I will repeat that statement again, that TCS might become a service provider, or it could create specialized customized software for companies that are leveraging AI solutions. So these would be software players. Similarly, you will have hardware players. Now these could be your GPUs, right? Or these could be nano chips, or these could be entire integrated panels that are designed. So well, what is it that these companies are eventually doing? Well, they are increasing the computation power. One of the features of AI is that it would require a lot of computational power. You might have seen that back in the day in 1980s, 1990s, computer in terms of its computing power required very less power, so to say. So the chips that were there, ki 1 MB RAM mein sab kuch ho jata tha, right? And all that stuff. So now in order to manifest AI based solutions, you need more and more computational power. That is one of the reasons why Nvidia, which is one of the stocks that I'm going to speak about on today's video, it gave a massive run up. Why? Because it was designing what? It was designing GPU. So where will you tag Nvidia? You will tag it somewhere here in this part 3. Fourth would be the front end players. So these would be commercial application players. For example, now what is it that Apple VR headset is doing? Well, it is a commercial application of AI. Now several such applications will be built with time. When it comes to driverless cars, which uses something called as neural networks. Now what is it? It is again an application of AI. Which company is tagging onto it? Well, there is a company called as Tesla, which is tagging onto that. So all these different things are there. So you need to categorize the company that you are picking accordingly. Now then comes the final space, which is the consulting. Now there will be a bunch of businesses that will get revamped because of the integration of AI into business. Many good companies, for example, there was a company called as Kodak. It used to make analog cameras and it used to have a major share of the entire photography market. And maybe go and ask your parents, they would be using that, or you might have used it if you were my age during your bachpan. So all that used to be there. Then suddenly Kodak just crashed, right? The entire stock crashed. What was the reason for that? Well, because they were not able to migrate from analog cameras to digital cameras. So that kind of disrupted the business. So what is going to happen next is that a bunch of businesses are going to get disrupted, and all these businesses, or like a big chunk of these businesses, will require consulting services. So even the consulting market will go up, especially if you are doing AI based consulting or AI based product design or AI based software integration. So this is the entire ecosystem or the value chain of AI. And whenever a company comes and tell you that, you know what, we are making like shoes, which are like AI based, and it does something like, hipster. So you need to pretty much tag it in one of these 5 fields and see whether or not that company is going to benefit. Now let me go a level deep and help you explain a couple of more very important points related to AI. Now there are 2 types of AI. One is called as strong AI and one is called as weak AI. this is a very broad categorization and very important for you to understand. So I will very quickly take you through this. So weak AI in very simple term means that this is a narrow AI. Here, whatever solutions are being eventually designed, they only solve for a very specific problem. For example, if you are building a robot to clean your house, that robot has a very specific functionality. And what is the functionality? That is to clean the house. So this is a weak AI. That robot cannot go and paint, and that robot cannot probably go and swim, right? So all these are different applications what a robot could potentially do. And how is weak AI different from strong AI? Now, strong AI has something called as cognitive abilities. Now, what is the cognitive ability ka meaning? Cognitive ability means the emotional quotient, ability to think, ability to forecast what is going to happen, or at least have a perspective about things, ability to learn from your past experience and project it into your future experiences. So that is in a way could be tagged as cognitive abilities. So the weak AI solutions have existed for decades. Now we are moving more towards this stronger AI, and that requires a lot of computational power and a lot of companies to come together and create a series of solutions. Now, in case you are interested in learning about evolution of AI, you can pause the video and read through this brief chart. It will help you understand how machines have gone from level 1 all the way till level 4-5 that exists today. Okay, so now with the basics out of the way, let me start delving deeper into the specific investment opportunities in the AI space. And the first stock in question is Nvidia. Just to very quickly talk about the performance of Nvidia as a stock, let me first talk about it, and then I will speak about whether it is a sensible move to consider something like Nvidia at this juncture or not. So first things first, let us look at the stock journey of Nvidia over the last few months. So in the last 1 month, the stock has given 12.5% return almost. In 6 months, it has gone up by 170%. In 1 year, almost like the same performance in the last 6 months. So last 6 months have been crazy good for something like Nvidia. Then comes the natural question that, okay, is Nvidia doing something out of the world? I tried to read a lot about Nvidia stock. Honestly, I could not find, except for the hype that has been built around AI, that Nvidia is providing computational power to AI companies. Now again, please go back to that first half of the video that I was speaking about, that where does Nvidia fit? It fits in the hardware space. That it is, in very simple words, providing computational ability to AI-based companies. If you check the financials of the company, you will see, and please read from right to left because we are looking at US based companies here. So you will clearly see they have been able to grow their revenues, no doubt, but have they been able to grow profitably? So the answer is no. It's not as if that in the last 1 year, their profits have grown. Why? Because their expenses would have gone up in terms of designing chips, vagera. So from that perspective, their profits haven't gone up. Now, of course, the cost of processors, the cost of manufacturing processor, the ability to hold that intellectual property. Now, all those are intangible benefits that Nvidia will have going forward. But to cut the long story short, the stock has already given a 170% run up. So from that perspective, you are taking a fairly big risk by investing in this stock as of now, because the PE of the stock has gone up like crazy. So for example, here you can see that the PE of the stock is more than 210 as of now. Now in 2020, it used to be somewhere around 80, right? So this has been a massive growth in PE. Its EPS or earning per share hasn't increased. In fact, it has gone down. So what is happening? The company has been able to make more revenues, no doubt about that, but they are not doing it profitably as of now. Now you'll say कि यार आगे चल के growth आ जाएगी. Okay, so that can happen with other GPU providers also, or other companies that manufacture chips. For example, there is another company called as AMD. If people who love playing video games or people who love playing computer games, you would have seen that we usually put AMD processors into our computers because it gives like a smooth experience. Now, someone from the gaming industry can help you understand it more. I don't understand the tech behind it. But at this stage, it looks like that Nvidia and AMD are engaging in a war as to which company will come out on top in order to fund this AI race. So this is where literally the story or AI story starts, and both Nvidia and AMD seems to be good contenders there. Now, which company will grow? Now, it really depends on the following 3 things. So the first, it depends that in the AMD versus Nvidia race, who are their existing clients. For example, in Nvidia's case, Microsoft is one of the supporters of Nvidia. So if the Microsoft is able to build the end applications really well, then Nvidia holds a better chance of going up in value. We also need to keep in mind the products or the type of chips that each of these companies are launching and whether or not they are effective. Now, my hypothesis is that when it comes to AMD, Nvidia, they both have excellent research capabilities. No doubt about that. They have access to best engineers. They have a lot of funds. They have the support of major clients. So from that perspective, it's a neck and neck type of competition between the two. But from a valuation point of view, AMD right now seems to be a better bet. So if you check the last 6 months performance of AMD, you will see that it has gone up by 68%. In case of Nvidia, it went up by almost 170%. So that PE expansion has happened for Nvidia, but surprisingly, it has not happened for AMD for whatever reasons. Now, two things can happen. That one is that AMD kind of stays sideways, or it can rise and become something like Nvidia in terms of stock price, or the Nvidia stock can fall and come to AMD levels. Now, what story is going to play out, what story is not going to play out, it will all depend the type of processors they are able to build. Now, that is a very, very difficult bet for investors like you and me to figure out. Now, if you are from the tech industry, you understand this game really, really well, that why is going forward AMD going to come out with better processors compared to Nvidia or vice versa. It's a very complicated debate to have. One of the prime reasons for that is that, see, it does not simply depends on AMD's or Nvidia's capabilities. It depends on what the end user wants, because there are so many players that need to move together to create the AI ecosystem. So that thing is going to take time, and taking overvalued bets at any stage, at least for a foreseeable future, seems like a very risky move. Add to this the fact that there are a lot of regulations in terms of whom AMD, Nvidia can export to. For example, here is a clipping. It categorically points to the fact that US is considering chip export control targeting China. So why? Because, bunch of other different issues could crop up. Many companies would want to manufacture this computational power of AI locally, because there can be a lot of safety related issues. Cybercrime type of problems could rise up. So there are a bunch of things to consider. So my simple advice here would be that please be a little bit cautious. Do not run with the fact that, chip bana denge, dono companiyan chip bana rahi hain, so you'll just go and buy it, badi jayega stock. No, it's not as simple. There are a lot of things that need to go right. We don't know about it. There is a lot of opaqueness in this space. Now you'll say, you spoke about both these stocks, you're not buying it. So then which stock are you slightly bullish on? Okay, so this is a stock that I had already purchased. I had spoken about it on my member community also. And tomorrow I will do a post regarding this company in slightly more detail. So the company that I'm going to talk about, it is called a super microcomputer, and its ticker is SMCI. So this is a stock that you could consider purchasing in case the analysis makes sense. So what is it that SMCI does? Well, very quickly, SMCI is a provider of high performance, high efficiency servers, server management softwares, storage systems, and which includes enterprise, cloud computing, AI, edge computing, etc., etc. So in simple words, what is it that the company is trying to do? Well, it is trying to become a one-stop shop for all IT solutions, especially to the Western countries. Now, what ends up happening is, and let me give you an example of cloud. Now, what is cloud computing? Basically, you might have seen Google Drive. What you do is that you create a Word document, you upload it where? On a Google Drive, right? So that is what is happening. It is not getting stored on your laptop. Now, Google Drive is a type of a cloud. Now, in order to maintain that entire architecture, someone needs to develop servers, processors, vagera, and provide those IT solutions. So SMCI is one company that is very innovative in this space. Now, what it is doing is, and one of the examples just extended from that cloud experience. So they have successfully built something called as regional cloud or cluster clouds. So a cloud ka bhi cloud ho gaya, right? So for example, so there is something called as research, and there is something called as meta research. So meta research is what? Ki research hogi, research is meta research. So similarly, this regional cloud or cluster cloud will manage different types of clouds. So the architecture that needs to be built was built by SMCI. So that is the basic primary function of SMCI. I know that the explanation was a little bit complicated, but it is unfortunately or fortunately a very complicated topic. If you haven't pressed the like button, do press it. I'm trying to explain all these things in very simple way. Now, one of the moats or winning edge for the company company is that it works very closely with leading chip designers, and what it does is that they are not direct competition with Nvidia or AMD. They are not in competition with them, but they understand their product cycles. So pehle se jaake they go and build the backend architecture what is required, and that is what it is written here. So this becomes one of the winning advantage of the company. They have been doing it over and over again, and this reflects even in their financials also. Now if you check the financials again, you will see that the total revenues have doubled. Even the profits have doubled. So it's not as if that the company is expanding without expanding its profit. So to cut the long story short, SMCI is a very solid company. And I spoke about this stock a couple of months back on my member community. And since then it has gone up quite a bit. So I started speaking about this stock somewhere around like 130, 140. And now it is at 250. So it has gone up quite extensively. But I still feel that it is somewhat of an undervalued company, so to say. Now, why am I saying it? Because SMCI, as per the US index, it's a mid-cap company there. It's not like a large cap company like AMD or a large cap company like Nvidia. So from that perspective, there are higher probability of growth. But having said this, it is in a risky business, no doubt about that. If tomorrow some problem comes with AMD or Nvidia, even SMCI is going to get hit. But if the AI game continues to evolve, then SMCI is a very moated player. It has a bunch of different revenue streams. So from that perspective, it's a solid stock. So then comes the next layer of stocks. For example, on my video here, and you can go and check this video, I had released it a few days back. I had spoken about Apple, that Apple is also an AI player, and any bet that you're taking on Apple now needs to be given the consideration that they are going to come up with commercialized products around AI. They have already started their game when it comes to that headset that everyone is speaking about, which will cost somewhere like $3,500. That is trying to tap into what? It is trying to tap into AI market. Now, if tomorrow just you can hear music without using AirPods, then some kind of interface needs to be designed. Now, Apple is a leading player around it. Why? Because A, they have a lot of cash. This is exactly what I have spoken about on that video. They are working in something called as generative AI. They are spending a lot of money on that, and they are trying to plug everything and put together everything in a luxury umbrella. That Apple, at the end of the day, it's a luxury player, that rather than owning a virtual reality headset by some other company, let's say Dell, now anyone would aspire to have an Apple product. Now, Apple is not the only player here. My advice would be to consider investing in these type of companies, but do it in a staggered fashion. For example, right now, Nasdaq is still trading from its peak. It is a good investment opportunity. Tomorrow again on my member community, I will give more commentary around Nasdaq. So in case you're of the viewpoint that, you know what, I don't know which specific company should I pick. Can I pick Apple, yeah, Microsoft, vagera, vagera? Because last 6, 7, 8 months, and people who have been regular viewers of mine, you would know that I had already built a lot of position in US stocks quite extensively over the last 1 year. Now all these stocks, check Microsoft for example, last 6 months performance, absolute crazy. So it becomes a little bit difficult scenario right now to go and find value buying opportunities here. But to cut the long story short, all these stocks like Apple, Amazon, Google, they are very well moated players. They will be able to win in the AI race. Please don't bet against them. You could consider investing a little bit of money in Nasdaq. That's a sensible investment as per my understanding, in case you are betting on the AI industry and you can't look at the nitty-gritties of it. So Nasdaq becomes a very good investment because it automatically gives you exposure across all these stocks. So aage chal ke, if Microsoft falls by another 10, 20, 30% also, you will not panic. Therefore, if you are a beginner and if you want exposure to AI, just bet on Nasdaq as of now. If you are an intermediate player, then create a basket of 6, 7 good stocks that I'm speaking about, and you could consider doing SIP in it in a way, and automatically if the market survives for the next 5 years, it becomes a very good bet. Don't do the fact that, you know what, AI, मेरे को पूरा भरोसा है that AI is going to shine and I'm going to sell my house, invest all my money in 4, 5 stocks that you are telling. No, please don't do that in one go. Now comes the final type of stocks, which are the Indian stocks. So I will lump everything together. I will also tell you why. For example, consider the case of Tata Elxsi. Now here is the breakup or revenue breakup of Tata Elxsi as of now. You will see that almost 87% of Tata Elxsi's revenue come from embedded product design. Now, how is this related to AI? Well, I asked this question on Twitter and an engineer replied, and here was his response. So he has explained it well, that in simple terms, embedded product design is about creating electronic devices that can do specific tasks, like a smartwatch that tells time and tracks your steps. Building processors is like making the brain of a computer or a phone that helps us think and do things. So when we think that, you know what, companies like Tata Elxsi are actually working on the AI stuff, they are in that weak AI zone, not the strong AI zone. So these are not like new age AI, so to say. But yes, something like Tata Elxsi is going to benefit quite extensively if it starts doing consulting for companies like Boat, that kal ko Apple Computers launches some type of new age AirPods, right? And which are like invisible or something. And Boat also comes with that. Now, if Boat requires some implementation help, then Tata Elxsi can benefit from that. So I don't think that there is any massive growth that is going to come in the Indian market due to AI. That's one, at least not in the short or mid term. It can come in the long term, no doubt about that. But please don't buy something like Tata Elxsi or TCS thinking they are doing like some AI related work. They are not. Even if they are doing in that weak AI zone. This is a very, very important point that I wanted to outline. Now, let me show you 2-3 more examples around it. For example, consider the business of TCS. You will see that almost 99% of money that TCS makes, it makes by doing consulting, right? And what type of consulting does it do? Mostly banking, right? So if you check that almost 32% of their consulting business depends on banking. You might have seen that a lot of banks, for example, ICICI, HDFC, they will be using certain type of software. Who builds it? TCS builds it. Who maintains it? TCS maintains it. So is this AI? I don't think this is AI. So when are these companies, that TCS, Wipro, Tata Elxsi, so when are they going to benefit? So let me quickly explain it via a flowchart that right now, when it comes to strong AI, we are still in that R&D zone. Then after this, the commercialization of app will get built and then it will finally become mainstream. Now, once it goes mainstream, and that is when the cost cutting in the AI world will get into the picture, and something like TCS will be at the forefront, or Indian IT industry will be at the forefront of doing that cost cutting. Again, here's a very quick snippet as to what work currently TCS is doing, and you let me know in the comment box that is it like front end or back end type of an AI work or not, and how soon it will reflect into the stock price. By no means I am trying to portray the picture that TCS will not grow or Tata Elxsi will not grow. Nothing of that sort. It is likely to grow, but not because of the AI trend that is happening. Now, a few days back, I made a video that how the financialization trend is making everything more complicated around us and how it is making the youth of our country little bit dumber about money. So this is a very interesting video that you can go and check next. It will help you understand more about the money trends that are shaping our country. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.